How's it going, super friends? Today we're going to be reviewing the Multiverse Gotham by Gaslight Batman action figure that comes with the Collect and Connect Lex Luthor head and cape. Yesterday I did a poll on my Instagram account asking folks which figure they'd like to see me review next on this channel from the Lex Luthor Build-A-Figure wave. I had already previously reviewed the Wonder Woman, and I was just trying to get some audience input on what they might like to see next. Well, the audience spoke. Vixen came in the lowest with 13 votes, the Ray came in with 14, and Batman got a whopping 25. So, Batman it is. So if you're familiar with Multiverse and what they've been doing lately, then you'll know that it's the blue packaging with the great big window where you can see the figure and the accessories on the inside, logos, Batman, more Batman on this side, and on the back then you have an image of the Build-A-Figure with the different characters and the part numbers that it comes with to make him, and then there's always a write-up right here in this one corner. And that's it, but we really want to get to what's on the inside of the package, this very cool looking Gotham by Gaslight character. For those of you who don't know, by the way, Gotham by Gaslight was an Elseworld story. It never happened in canon, but it was still a very cool story nonetheless, and I highly suggest that you take the time to read it. Anywho, let's open it up.
Get out of there, Flaps. Jeez.
And here's what you get. Oh, that was a mess. I mean, here's what you get. You get this soft rubber cape for the Lex Luthor Collect and Connect. I love how soft this is. I actually really like this. You get the head to the Lex Luthor Build-A-Figure, and that's actually not a bad likeness, if you ask me. I think that looks pretty good. You get a second set of interchangeable hands that we'll put on the body later. And, of course, we get the Gotham by Gaslight Batman action figure. So this here, as you can see, is the sum total of everything that you get in the package when you buy this figure. Now, before we get any further into this review, I just want to do a quick toe to head shot of this Batman figure, just so that you can see up close exactly what this guy looks like. He's a very, very simple figure with the black, gray, and then the belt having the two-tone brown and kind of beige color with the silver buckle. A very, very simple figure, but I feel like he's incredibly effective. I do think it's kind of strange that they decided to go with a Gotham by Gaslight figure in their multiverse wave, because he doesn't really fit in with anyone or anything, but it is called multiverse for a reason, and that way they're not constricted to any one timeline or story or anything like that. Alright, and now it's time to get our hands on him. And this Batman is really, really cool looking. I remember being really excited when I first saw Wonder Woman until I noticed she had the same friggin' forearm on both sides. But this one doesn't seem to have any of those problems. It seems like all the right pieces are installed on this figure, so that's a plus. Right off the bat, I like the fact they've used a cloth goods material. It's like a fake leather. I like the texture on the outside. It's kind of soft and leathery, and on the inside it's that matte black. I may or may not change the cape just because they use that material that they usually use on the Batman capes that, as you can see here, once it's been wrinkled in the package, it's incredibly difficult to get it to not look like trash. But they do have that piece that goes over his shoulders, the collared piece right here, and you can see the stitch lines going around there, which is really kind of cool. They got all the various details in the neck of his cowl here, and the same thing with on the body of his suit. They got all the wrinkles there. They've paid attention to detail that way. Very Gotham by Gaslight-ish. And then they've got his Gotham by Gaslight gloves. I don't want to call them gauntlets because I'm not sure they're gauntlets, but they're definitely accurate to the comic book, which is cool. You've got that two-toned utility belt with the silver buckle and the two different tones of beige and brown, with all the different knives that fit individually into their own little sheaths. The buckles on the side of his suit have been executed really well too. They look really nice. You got his tunic hanging down the bottom, and then you got his great big high bat boots that I think they've been sculpted really, really well. You can see the seam line up the back there. I just think that Mattel tried to do something really cool with this, and in my opinion, just with looks so far, I think that they succeeded. Also, here's what it looks like when you install the second set of hands on his body here, the open set of hands. And if you're not going to have him posed with anything in his hands, like maybe one of his knives here, this might be the option that you want to go with if he's just standing around or you're just posing him around. I like these open hands a lot actually, and I might actually stick with these for the rest of the review. Although I do want to show you that you can indeed fit his fighting knives in this hand. You can see that the knife and his hand have been designed to go together, and you just pop the knife in his hand there. It's a little bit rubbery and hard to get in there, but it does fit so that you can have him, you know, standing around with a knife like, I'll cut you, I'll cut you. And then finally we come in and have a closer look at that head sculpt, and you can see the various stitch lines on his cowl there, they've done a really good job with this figure. I'm actually really impressed. Just quickly now going over Batman's articulation and range of movement. The head is on a ball peg and it can go all the way around 360. He can look up quite a bit and he can look down. It's not too bad, not the greatest, but not too bad. Then his arms, obviously the shoulders are going to be on that shoulder hinge there, but the soft rubber here of his cape is going to get in the way, so there's not a huge amount of movement because of that. Then you have a bicep swivel that rotates, which is to be expected. A single jointed elbow. Does it rotate? Nope, elbow doesn't rotate. Then you have a rotating hinge for the wrist. You've got an ab crunch that goes back about that far and crunches down about that far. You have a waist that is going to swivel 360 degrees. The groin is on that ball joint, which is something that I always am happy to see. Goes forward about that and goes back a little bit, not too much because his butt gets in the way. He's also got a thigh cut that rotates, and he's got a single jointed knee rather than double. I know people like to have that double, but Mattel seems to pick and choose which ones they're going to give that to, and it does not move or rotate, so the only rotation you're going to get for articulation is up here at the top of the leg. And then he has the ankles, which are on a hinge that goes forward and backwards, and it's also a pivot. And that is a plus. Again, that's something that fans always ask for, is that pivot for the ankles. Although I think that people would be a lot more happy if there was also double jointed knees as well. Those are also a fan favorite that quite often gets overlooked. For our first comparison, I've got him standing in between a DC Universe Classic scale Batman and also a Multiverse Rebirth scale Batman. He looks so much bigger compared to the Rebirth one, but he's almost on par with the DC Universe Classic scale one. His muscles just don't look as defined. And for my next lineup, I've got him sandwiched in between the Arkham Origins and the Injustice 2 Batman, both from Mattel. If you're new to this channel, you might have noticed that I can't keep my hands to myself and I always customize things. I didn't like the head that came on this figure, so I swapped it off. And for my last comparison, it's two more Mattel products, being the Multiverse Batman figure from Batman v Superman, only I swapped the heads, and then, this one's all kind of custom, but it's the New 52 Mattel Batman figure. So as you should be seeing, this Batman figure is actually all kinds of girthy. He's big. I mean, just look at the size of them arms. This is a big, girthy, imposing, kick-your-butt Batman. Okay, so now we're at the part of the video where typically I'll tell you what I think about the figure. Is it worth picking up, yay or nay? And if you haven't been paying attention, I actually really like this figure. It gives me damn Gotham by Gaslight feels, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm not so much concerned with all of the extreme articulation points that a lot of us tend to like sometimes, simply because this is a figure I'm going to take out. I'm going to pose him around occasionally, but I'm not really going to put him through any kind of posing articulation ringer on a regular basis. Other than that, he's going to sit in my Batman action figure archive or on my shelf, and he can do that just fine. But he is, as you've seen, quite posable. Just maybe not as much as some people would really like. But like I said, that's okay with me. I really like him. And you know what? If you like this figure too, then maybe you'll want to hop on over to Jason Langston's Instagram account and show him some love. He's the fellow that had a large hand not only in this figure, but also in the Ray, which is another character a lot of people have been waiting to see for a long, long time and never got a DC Universe Classics release. And here he is being released in the multiverse. But it's Jason Langston that played a large part in designing this figure. So hop on over to his Instagram account, show the man some love. He used to work at Mattel. He got laid off, as a whole lot of people did, and he could certainly use some words of positive encouragement. But as much as I might like this figure, I'm just one guy with one point of view, and you might have a completely different point of view on this figure, so please feel free to leave it down in the comments section below. Also, if you enjoyed this video, found it useful, helpful, a reasonable waste of time, please smooch it with a like, hit the subscribe button, doink the bell so that you never miss a video, and I will see you next time, super friends. Take care. They killed my parents.